Hello everyone, today I'm working on this u25b and it's in real good shape. It's got very light weathering. You can see it especially on the trucks. They have kind of a reddish tinge to it. So it's very light weathering. It doesn't look too bad. So I'm not going to do anything about that. I'm just going to rebuild it like that. So I'm going to take it apart to clean it. The first part of it, this is we're going to remove the shell. Now the shell comes out in two pieces. You have to start by removing the handrails. So you make sure you remove the handrails because you do not want to break them. These are not too fragile. This locomotive being 30 plus years old. So I have my horn here. It's been converted to microtrains couplers. So that's kind of a nice conversion. It was well done. So I'm not going to change that. So the first part of the shell removal is you pull on the back of the shell very gently. That should help you to release the front part of it. There. And then we have to wiggle the walkways and handrails around the main frame. I'm going to remove these two couplers. That's probably going to help me to shimmy it around the frame. It's a small screw, so it's hard to work with. So I did it off camera. Then you can just pull these out very gently. They should just come out. It's tough to do it on camera because I can't really see what I'm doing. So it's a little bit tight in the hole, but they do come out that way. There. The fuel tank, you can just pull on it. It's very easy to remove. And then we can shimmy the frame around, spread out the middle and shimmy it around the frame. So it's not a race, take your time. Same thing with the back part or the front. Just shimmy it around over the frame and then it will release. So that was for the shell. And now I've got my frame. So I'm ready to start cleaning. It's actually not in bad shape. The windows, they got a little bit of dull coat on them. So for this engine, I'm just gonna keep it like that. But definitely when I work on them, I want to see the windows clear. There, now you can see a little bit more focused. But despite everything, it looks okay, especially with the lighting that I have on my layout. You won't be able to see that the trucks have a reddish tinge on the side frames. So at this point I can remove the light shield and the lights. And then this light got bent a little bit. That's no big deal. We'll bring that out. And then I can work on my two screws. If I want to just clean the trucks, I can just loosen this a little bit and spread it out and it will release the trucks. I don't have to remove everything. Just gives me enough slack to remove the trucks. So that'll make it easier. Also, you don't have to worry about remembering the direction for these. This side goes towards the fuel tank, and then this side, which was cut off for the microtrains conversion, goes towards the outside. So that's not too hard to remember. If the engine had been all original, it would have a coupler at the end of the trucks. And that makes it easy to find the direction. It's the same thing here, you just spread the frame out just a little bit and you can get your trucks out. But I'm gonna go all the way, open it up all the way so you can see what's inside. So inside I have my two worm gears. Now this is probably 30 plus years old, this engine. So it still has bearings which are copper or brass. And it's got the two engine cradles, be mindful of that. Everything looks good in here. And they have something neat, they have a door that you can remove. And that gives you access to the motor, to look at the motor. It's held on there by the magnets. I'm not sure really what this door does. I'm assuming it's for noise. So that's kind of neat. Everything looks great in here, so I'm just gonna put just a little drop of oil, just to say that I did something. That's it. 4 drops is all you need. There's an RS1 out there that has a very similar mechanism. So these I'll just put my thumb nail on one side and I'll push with my screwdriver on the other side just to bring them up, and then I can separate all the mechanism from the side frames just like that. Then the side frame is going to go to be cleaned, and my wheels are going to go to be cleaned, and I have these this little brass pickup strips here. It can run without it, but it does run better. So that I'll put to the side. That gets cleaned. And then I have my gears. Well, these have plenty of lubrication, but because the locomotive isn't really dirty, I'm not going to change anything here. This is actually, this type of engine, I do lubricate the trucks. And then these, I just run my finger on them to clean them. That's all it is. So I am going to clean the wheels and the side frames under my tap with some dish soap and my toothbrush. So while I was cleaning my wheels, I also took the time to clean the shell. And these I'm going to show you when I take a clean area on my rag that they are a little bit dirty. So I run the wheel on my rag, and it wasn't disaster dirty, but still it still had a little bit of black on my rag. So that is the way to make them squeaky clean. Now I'm getting ready to put everything back together. So I put the two metal parts together. Don't forget the little pickup strip, so it goes opposite from the gears. And then I can bring the wheels back in, and making sure that the little contact strip is exactly where it needs to be. Sometimes it'll sit on top of the wheel, and that's not really helpful. If you do that, it just won't work properly. So now I have to be mindful of that. Contact strip so it sits properly. And then I check it. Now I can bring my side frames back in. So I just slide them in very gently. The little contact strips, oftentimes it will find its way on its own, and it's pretty easy. Now I can go back and check it through this little space here. It's off just a tiny little bit, so I can get my screwdriver in there and push it in just to help it just a little bit. But I have to do it off camera because I really can't see what I'm doing. It ended up, it actually landed just right, so no need to change anything. So you can still check it with your finger just to make sure you get everything lined up properly. So this one feels pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. I'll do the other side off camera. On the second truck, I ran into an issue. The little tooth that holds the truck down here, it got broken when the other guy removed the coupler for the microtrans conversion. So my metal frame, it just keeps popping up like this. So that's not good. So I'm gonna put just a drop of crazy glue to hold it down. So you want to be precise with your glue. Don't want to get any on the wheels. So I'm gonna just glue this down. Just a drop is all you need. And then I'll let this dry for 10 minutes. Now I'm ready to put everything back together. So make sure everything's lined up. And then don't forget the two insulators, you need them. I can bring the other side of the frame back. What I do, let's say the locomotive's a little too noisy for my liking, I'll do every step of the way. I'll go back and I'll add a part. And every time I add a part, I make sure that it goes where it's supposed to go. My little contact strip there, it's a little bit out of place, so I'm going to move it to where it goes. There, now that's better. So you can check it with your finger. You can still move the flywheels around. Actually, the best way to do it is you can test it on the bench with your power pack. So you can test it every step of the way with your power pack, just to make sure that you're happy with everything. So it sounds really good. Then, as I still have my screws out, I can wiggle the frame just a little bit, open it up, just to bring in the trucks. And then use gravity as your friend to hold your trucks in place while you do the other side. So once you have all your side frames and your trucks together, I can start tightening my screws. They don't have to be very tight, just hand tight. And then the fuel tank can go back. There's a direction to it. The only way to know is if it just snaps in there. Then it's good. I can bring back my lights. These fit in there pretty tight. And the light shield. The locomotive will run without it, but it just looks just a little bit better. There. And then I'm going to put my handrails back together. take my time. Make sure that these are in there properly. You have to spread it out just a tiny little bit. You can pry on the steps to pry it out just a tiny little bit. And that will help you get them in. Usually you don't need a lot of strength to put them in. They're not too hard. So I just have to pry this out just a tiny little bit, and that will get it in. Then you have to wiggle it around the frame again, spread out the middle. And then it has to go around the frame again. And while you're doing that, be mindful not to damage your handrails. That's when it could happen. Also, the battery boxes at the front are longer than the rear ones. So take it down just a little bit at a time. Try to keep it about even. And then when it gets over the hump, then you can celebrate. There. And then I can bring in the top of the shell, and I also have to spread out my two little handrails. Here I have to spread them out. They go outside. They have to go outside of the cab, just like so. And the same with the other side. It has to go just outside of the cab. And then there's tabs from the cab that will get into these slits. So just pay attention and line them up properly. They should go in pretty good. There. Perfect. And then I have to put my couplers back. That's just one little extra step. So just tighten the couplers back. And now it's time to run some trains. Oh, I almost forgot. I have to place my handrails at their proper spot. So these, if they're not at the proper spot, they really annoy me, so I better get this done. Now we can go run some trains. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly had fun making it for you. See you soon.